March the 5th, 2023. Guys, you're looking at two images. One is from a headline yesterday. This is from KOKA, Channel 2, CBS, and I think this is Ohio. On the left is a Google image that if you zoom down on Google Maps, you know how it'll take you to street level. Same images. And if you notice, you've got two creeks that are coming in together and going under this bridge, and it goes down to Leslie Run Creek in this area. Now, the creek that goes straight up to the right in this image, this is what Pete and them have done in Norfolk Southern. Maybe a couple of loads of this gravel, these big granite rocks or whatever it is, blocking up the creek that runs up behind these houses. Now, it looks like over on the right, this house is burned. Notice right there. And it's also wintertime, and I don't know if some trees they haven't bloomed back probably that far north. This was yesterday. All right, this area with the yellow boom and this boom and the rocks, and I'm sure these pumps that run through there, guys, they were meant to contain the wastewater and runoff from the train disaster there in East Palestine, Ohio. That's where we're looking at. This is called 400 Park Drive. Notice in the right, you can see the tip of the bridge here. And again, 40 Park Drive. The heavy rains have overflowed this concentrated, I'm talking about mass concentration of dioxins out through the yards, or saying down through the parks. It's a short, real short article, but we'll read that. But I just wanted to point this out. I've never been there, but you guys can, this will give you an idea. And the reason I'm going into the detail on the location was because in the report, the fire department there did not even know that this was running over. But I think what happened, we saw these pumps coming in, they were trying to do some kind of diversion, and which makes no sense. They were pumping the water out into trucks going to a few locations, and supposedly that got shut down from complaints from Deer Park, Texas, and other locations. But again, same image, but you guys there in East Palestine, this is where the leak occurred. Now, this is going to run to the right and down under this bridge into what's called Leslie Run Creek. I'm going to back the map out, and let's take a look at that. They're afraid in the report that the park will become uninhabitable. But all of this is spread out now over the soil that they were trying to contain in one ditch. Thank you, Pete. But then, so it just concentrated, built up dioxin layer after dioxin layer. Now it's covered the land. But this guy's right here is the bridge at Park Drive, and this is the creek coming down behind the house that appears burnt, and this is Leslie Run Creek here, right through there. And I'll back it out a little further, let you know what we're talking about. Here's your East Palestinians community pool, the disc golf course, city park. Let's see, the tennis courts, city park there. So this is running down this Leslie Run Creek. We'll back out, and let me change this view just 1 second so we can trace this creek. You can't really see it in the trees that good. But that's a good name, Leak Oil Company right there. Here's the high school. Pull this up. This is the Leslie Run Creek. Here's your city lake here. Comes down. Here's the school and stuff that we saw. And the park. Comes down by the cemetery. And eventually runs down off along 170. You get all the way down to the Ohio River. Then this would be at basically Glass. Let's see how close we can get here. This is Midland Road. We're not far from the border of Pennsylvania and Ohio. Here's Ohioville Borough Boat Ramp. Pleasant Hill United Methodist Church. Glasgow is here. Across the river's Georgetown. So this is going to run south. It's concentrated release. The people are saying in the accounts that the dam burst, but it looks like it simply was overrun. Again, heavy rain in there, poor planning, the worst disaster in the history of the U.S., more than likely. Now, it looks like it flows south. This is it into what's called Little Beaver Creek. This is just south of Fredericktown Christian Church, Sandy and Beaver Canal Lot number 48. So it's coming there. This is going to continue to move south. There's Beaver Creek State Forest. And again, down to Glasgow, where it hits the Ohio River. There's Georgetown, Glasgow. You've got the Ohioville Borough boat ramp here. And so we back this out. We're going to be headed south. Kind of see where we're going here. So we'll know what is affected. Of course, this won't be as strong the further it gets downstream, but these dioxins are very dangerous. Just one is all it takes to really give you a lot of problems. Still a lot of skin rashes being reported there. It comes down through Parkersville. There's Wheelersburg, Portsmouth, Cincinnati, Louisville, West Point, Evansville, Memphis, into the Mississippi River back here. So all that of course ends up down, coming out into the Gulf of Mexico, goes through New Orleans and heads down towards Buras and Port Sulphur and Empire, through those areas I'm very familiar with. Went to elementary school, what that time was Buras High School. I'm not sure it's the same. It was a 2-story or 3-story brick building there, guys, right on the river levee. For any of you folks that are old as I am, back in the mid-60s. But that's what we're looking at on this. I'll look at the report and I'll link you to that. And this is channel 19, possibly Cleveland. You guys let me know there if I'm wrong. It says, new level of fears, a makeshift dam is breached in East Palestine. You've got, and this is the image. If you play the video, you'll see the one image on the right that I took of the burned home there. Again, right at that bridge coming in on the right. Scroll this down. Again, this was yesterday, but we need to let everybody know, if, again, the fire department was not aware of this until they were asked by the press from out of town. And not, maybe a lot of other people aren't either. It says, dam designed to prevent toxic water contamination in East Palestine has failed. Residents tell 19 News heavy rain has caused Leslie Run Creek to rise and spill over the makeshift dam near the derailment site. That could be, and I'm not sure, guys, why that house is burned. 19 News was able to obtain several photos of water from that man-made dam covering the main street area of town. It will have to be, guys, if they will ever admit what they've done, that it will become another, what was it, Times Beach. They had to bulldoze over everything. It said, Ezra Kaza, or Eric Kaza, tells 19 News he's frightened to think about what this new threat could mean. I fear that now the chemical is in the ground. It's going to leach towards your water ducts, our aquifer for drinking water. I'm concerned that the park is now contaminated. Kids won't be able to play there or walk there on their way to school. That's exactly right, but may consider moving, guys. I don't know what else to tell you until someone comes in there that's an independent laboratory that can give you accurate measurements, that's not hidden. And especially when you're hearing mainstream say that it's safe. Hey, Booger, that's my red and white husky over here making his comments, Bandit's brother, and we still haven't got Bandit back, guys. We're still looking. And by the way, there's a husky that's on Rescue Me while I'm here at the subject in Ohio, rescueme.org, that looks almost exactly like Bandit. It's not him, but they're almost identical, and he's up for adoption. But I may put a link to that in the video too, guys, because if you've ever seen images of our black and white husky that's missing, he's a beautiful animal, and this one is just as healthy looking and everything else. I hope he remains that way. But let me pull this down and get off the husky subject a moment. It says Kaza's family has already been diagnosed by a doctor with chemical irritation or rashes on their skin with the overflow of water. Kaza says the odor of chemicals is back in the air again. I have fear. I've had fear. And now this just put the anxiety over the top. Think about that. He's not exaggerating in that. When the first day you saw that plume of chemicals burning, then the concern level was peaking. But now it's worse. So, yes, Booger, it's worse. It's worse. He's saying it's worse. I'll be through in just a moment. They said one East Palestine resident on social media said he was warned by a work crew in the area to get away from the overflowing dam, and they called it dangerous. As for Gaza, he says he doesn't know how much more their community can take. They made this dam deep enough to pump the water out of the creek. They call them booms, so it catches the chemicals before it gets further down the creek. So they concentrated it in one area, so when you have a release, guys, you have a mass concentration. Out down into, I mean, you can't get around the stuff. 19 News did reach out to East Palestine Fire, and a dispatcher said they had not received any, even one call about a breach in the dam. We also reached out to Mayor Trent Conaway and are waiting for a call back. Again, this was yesterday at 9:38 p.m. Central Time. I don't know what to say, guys, but it's too dangerous to stay, and I'm sure they would like to try to come in and clean that up and take your property. Who knows? Are they just going to stay hidden away from that area? Just take out more and more livelihoods? We don't know yet. But I'm going to show you that picture of the husky there. Someone may can help them. I think he's got to be adopted. But you know, I know it's a serious situation there, but someone may have a heart that would help this beautiful animal. Check this out. And this is Rocky. I talked to the owner there. I contacted him because we're not sure where Bandit is, and we do know that dogs get picked up. They get transported out of state, different adoption agencies, and things like that. So I get reports maybe 10 or 20 a day from RescueMe.org from different states. This one came in, so I contacted the lady there. Very nice folks. They need to get him adopted. He's about a year or so old. He's almost identical to our Bandit. Really, I was really hoping it was, but he's not. And I will put a link to the information below. There's a contact phone number and things like that. Now, if you guys have done, if y'all do to this lady, like some of, not any of you, but we've had scam calls for putting our pup out here looking for him, and we have him, and we're gonna, you know, you're gonna have to have so much money, and we have a reward up, and then they don't have any identifying pictures and all. They just want you to send money or accept a code, things like that, which is cruel in a lot of ways. But you know, hell hath no fury like a parent with a lost child. So that's all I can tell them. But again, she's very concerned that the right people get Rocky, and he's up to date on he's up to date on all his vet stuff and all of that. But it would be good if someone could take the time to get him out of that situation, guys. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.